Problem 4.12 tie ratio. The H.R. Pickett Corporation has $500,000 of debt outstanding and it pays an annual interest rate of 10%. Its annual sales are $2 million, its average tax rate is 30%, and its net profit margin is 5%. So the total debt is equal to $500,000. The interest rate I equal 10%. Annual sales is equal to $2 million, and the tax rate is equal to 30%. The profit margin is equal to 5%. We need to calculate the times interest earned ratio. The times interest earned ratio is equal to the earning before interest tax divided by the interest. So we should calculate the earnings before interest tax and the interest. Interest, we can get it from the total debt. The interest amount is equal to the total debt times the interest rate. So the interest is equal to $500,000 times the I%, which is 10%, times 0.1, which gives us $50,000 or $0.05 million. Okay, this is the interest. Now we need to calculate the earnings before interest tax. In order to calculate the earnings before interest tax, we should first start with the profit margin, which is equal to net income divided by sales. We calculate the net income, which is equal to the profit margin times sales. So the net income is equal to 5%, 0.05 times the sales, which is $2 million. Okay, so the net income is $0.1 million. Now we need to calculate the earnings before interest tax. In order to calculate the earnings before interest tax, we need to calculate first the earning before tax, which is equal to the net income divided by 1 minus tax rate. So the earning before tax is equal to $0.1 million divided by 1 minus 0.3. So divided by 0.7. So the earnings before interest tax is $0.1429 million. Now we can calculate earnings before interest tax, which is equal to the earnings before tax in addition to the interest. So earnings before interest tax equal to the earnings before tax plus the interest we calculated before, 0.05. So the earnings before interest tax is $0.192 million. Now we can calculate the times interest earned ratio, which is equal to EBIT, so 0.192, divided by the interest, which is 0.05, which gives us 3.86 times.